Here at Bell, we're pretty excited about this new 214 ST. We feel it's particularly suited to the increasingly demanding offshore flight regimes of the oil industry. One of the ship's strongest capabilities is that it has true twin-engine performance. It can land at max gross weight with one engine out. To those of you who spend your days flying offshore, this is an important factor. It means you can eliminate beach fuel, because if the 214 ST has an engine failure, it need not return to shore, but can be landed on even the smallest offshore pad. In some environments, such as the North Sea, the beach fuel weight can be the equivalent of 4 passengers. That's a lot of payload to lose every day. So we've made some single-engine landings on the 40 by 40-foot pad we've marked out here to show you what single-engine performance you can expect from the 214 ST in the real world of offshore transport. Our test conditions here at Bell don't exactly duplicate a sea-level standard day, as our comparison table indicates. But what we have done here would be easier at sea level with a cooler temperature, more power, and in actual operational use, probably more wind. Cockpit instrumentation is pretty standard. Perhaps the most important one to watch during this single-engine demonstration is the turbine gas temperature indicator. You'll see it is green up to 775 degrees, amber to 850 degrees, and redlined above that. To give you an overview of the landing procedure, let's watch the action first with a split screen technique, so you can observe both what's happening inside the cockpit and the attitude of the 214 ST as filmed from a chase ship. There's the indicator light, both on the engine nacelle and the instrument panel. These lights indicate that I've just rolled back number 1 engine. The descent looks a lot steeper from the chase helicopter than it did to me in the cockpit. Notice the transient overtemperature condition as reflected by the TGT reaching red line. Touchdown is smooth, and to a casual observer, there's no indication that the landing has been other than normal. Now, let's look at the scenes separately. First the aircraft, then the instrument panel. Basically, I'm using a technique similar to a Category A landing in the Bell Model 212. I'm at 200 feet of altitude, about 3/4 of a mile from the simulated offshore landing pad, with a speed of 30 knots plus the headwind component. I control descent with a collective. It's important that the airspeed be kept above 15 knots during the first 2/3 of the approach. You should keep the right side of the pad in view at all times during the approach, particularly the last 25 feet, since you're using rotor inertia to decelerate the ground speed, control your rate of descent, and position the helicopter on the pad. The indicator light just went off, showing that the skid is touched down. Now let's follow the same landing in the cockpit. The flight instruments as viewed by the stop-action camera. Here are the flight conditions just before engine roll-off. The rotor RPM is reading 289. There's the event indicator light. I've just rolled off the left engine. Already the right engine is automatically taking up the power loss. Notice the rapid climb of the TGT. The engine is topped, delivering all the power it can. The turbine gas temperature is redlined. Note that the rotor RPM is 285. At this point, we should be very close to the landing pad. Here's how the instruments look just 2 1/4 seconds after the previous stop action. Observe the rotor RPM is down to 265. 2 seconds later is the point of ground contact. The engine is still topped, but the rotor RPM is down to 252. Now I'll use both engines to briefly hover the helicopter and check the power. 1,675 shaft horsepower. Before the test, I checked the right engine alone and found that at this max gross weight of 16,500 pounds, the single engine power available was 1,390 shaft horsepower. After offloading our payload and completing the mission, we are now light enough to execute a single engine takeoff and return to base. We've looked at just one single engine test in detail, the most difficult possible scenario, that of landing at maximum gross weight. We ran a series of many similar landings using either the left or the right engine only. The results were consistent. Single engine landings within the small 40-foot square helipad are a practical reality. You may never need or use this single engine offshore landing capability, especially at max gross weight. But isn't it nice to know that at least now there is a helicopter, the new Bell 214 ST, which has this performance capability?